"I get you whiskey, honey?" she asked, eyes like wet glass, voice sweeter than anything I'd heard in months. I nodded, fumbling with my wallet. My fingers shook. I wasn't drunk yet, just stunned. I'd been in Pattaya less than a week, and already this bar felt warmer than home ever did. "Make it a double," I said. She grinned, then turned, her long ponytail swaying like a metronome on a song I didn't know how to dance to. When she came back, she slipped onto the bench, beside me instead of the bar stool across. "You knew?" she asked, clinking her glass against mine. "Your face, not tired like the others." "Just landed from Boston," I said, laughing. "And I'm 63, so I'm not sure about the not tired part." She leaned in close, her breath touching my cheek. "I like older men, more kind, more soft heart." I smiled, and for a second I forgot the past 2 years of my life. Forgot the hospital smells, the divorce papers, the silence in that empty condo back home. "And I like smart women who lie well," I teased. Her laughter burst out like a bell, loud, free, real, or at least it felt real. She touched my arm. Then, just a brush of her fingertips, but it felt like an invitation or a promise. "What's your name?" I asked. She looked at me like she was already inside my head. "Nari, but you can call me anything." "Nari," I repeated, letting it settle on my tongue like honey. "Pretty name." "You not ask price," she said, tilting her head. "I'm not buying anything," I said. "Just talking." Her eyes flicked to my wrist, then my shoes. She was reading me, calculating, I knew it. But still she smiled, and that smile made my chest ache in a way that had nothing to do with age. "Good," she said. "Then maybe I talk for free." We stayed in that bar until the lights came up. I bought her 2 more drinks. She let me hold her hand on the second. Told me she hated the bar life but needed to take care of her mother. Said her dream was to open a noodle cart. "I want small life, no drama, just happy," she said, staring into her glass. I didn't say anything, just nodded. I knew something about wanting small lives. When the music cut off and the girls started wiping down tables, she looked at me. "You walk with me?" I didn't even think. Of course. Walked barefoot along the beach. She carried her heels in one hand and held my pinky finger in the other. The moon hung like a secret. She stopped once to write something in the sand, her name and mine side by side. She smiled like it was a joke, but I didn't laugh. "Why me?" I finally asked. She didn't answer at first. Just looked out at the waves, then said, "Because your eyes sad but your smile still try." I opened my mouth, then closed it. She saw through me, or maybe just saw what I wanted her to see. Didn't matter. I let her link her arm through mine and rest her head on my shoulder, like she'd done it 1,000 times. At the corner by my hotel, she stopped. "You want me come up?" I hesitated. My heart beat like it was 20 again. "I think I just want to see you again tomorrow." Her eyebrows lifted. "You sure? I want to take you to lunch. Without music, without drinks. Just talk." She smiled again, soft this time. "Okay, honey." And there it was again. That word. Honey. She said it like it meant something. Like it had always been mine. The next morning I woke up too early. I shaved, pressed the only decent shirt I brought, waited in the lobby with a knot in my stomach like I was 16 again. She showed up late, half an hour, and apologized in Thai-accented English that somehow made me forgive her before she finished speaking. We had pad Thai from a cart near the beach. She fed me from her fork and wiped sauce from my chin. She called me cute, said I made her laugh like no other Farang. I asked her more about her life. She kept it light, told me she'd worked in Bangkok, hated it. Her mom was sick. She was sending money home. Said she used to want to be a teacher, but dreams expensive. When I pulled out my wallet to pay, she put her hand over mine. "Let me today." I laughed. "You serious?" She nodded. "Only 80 baht. I can do one good thing." That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying her words, her eyes, the way her fingers brushed mine when she handed me that receipt. She made me feel like a man again. Like I wasn't just waiting to die. I texted her before bed. "Thank you for today," she replied. "I dream of us tonight. Don't laugh. Sleep good, honey. That was the first night I turned off the TV without needing it to fall asleep, and just like that I started to believe. Believe maybe it wasn't about youth or lust or money. Maybe she saw something in me I'd stopped seeing. Maybe Honey wasn't just her script. Maybe it was a name she'd saved. For me, I didn't care if I was wrong. Not yet. Not then. You never told me what brought you to Thailand, Nari said one morning, sliding a bowl of sticky rice toward me as the fan buzzed above our heads. I looked at her, sun streaking across her hair, and something inside me softened. I needed quiet, I said. I needed something that didn't remind me of everything I'd lost. She didn't ask what, she just nodded like she understood. I didn't tell her then that a year ago I was staring at a blank hospital ceiling, waiting to find out if the tumor was cancer. Didn't tell her about the day I came home from my biopsy and found divorce papers on the kitchen table. My daughter never called me back. She said she'd had enough of watching me throw away years on people who never stayed. She was right. I just didn't know it yet. You were married? Nari asked gently. I nodded. For 22 years. We were already strangers by the end. She reached over and took my hand. You good man, I can see. I stared at her. Fingers curled around mine and felt something I hadn't in years. Worth. What about you? I asked. What made you come to Pattaya? She leaned back, eyes flicking to the ceiling. My mama gets sick, no papa, only me and two brother. I come work, help pay doctor school, I want better. I didn't speak for a minute. She looked so young then, too young for this kind of weight. You send all your money home? I asked. She nodded. Every month, I don't need much. I'm happy with small things. I want family proud. That night, I couldn't sleep. Her words stayed with me. I kept replaying the way she looked when she said, proud, like it was the only thing. That mattered. I'd spent so long trying to feel needed again. Maybe that's why I couldn't stop texting her, couldn't stop showing up. You don't go other bar now, she joked one evening, brushing lint from my collar. I am your bar now. I laughed, but it wasn't a joke anymore. I didn't want anyone else. I didn't want noise. I wanted her voice, her stories, her gentle way of saying my name like it had never been shouted before. You're seeing her a lot, Tony said one afternoon at the cafe near Soi Buakau. He was 70 from Manchester and had been here 15 years. Just be careful, he said, sipping his black coffee. It's easy to believe the story they give you. We all want to believe it. I frowned. You think she's lying? He shook his head. I think she's surviving. And you look like you want to be someone's reason to survive. Just go slow. I nodded, but I didn't listen. I didn't want slow. I wanted to feel full again. And she made me feel like I had a purpose. One evening, I brought her a bracelet. Simple, silver, with a little heart charm. Why? She asked, eyes wide. Because you work too hard, I said. Because someone should take care of you too. She stared at it like it was made of gold. I never get gift like this, she whispered. I smiled. Well, get used to it. You deserve better. She hugged me tight, her cheek pressed against my chest. You make me feel safe, she said. And I believed her. God, I wanted to believe her. I started checking on her every day, brought her groceries, took her out to dinner on Sundays. I told her about the time my daughter made me a Father's Day card out of macaroni and glitter, and how I still kept it in a shoebox, even though she hadn't spoken to me in years. She miss you, Nari said. She angry, but heart still. Love, I smiled. Not because I believed it, but because she said it like it might be true. One morning I told her I was thinking of staying longer than planned. Maybe 6 months, maybe more. She looked up from the sink. Because of me? I paused. Yeah, I said. Mostly. She dried her hands and walked over, resting, her forehead on my chest. You make me forget bad things. You make me feel like real girl, not bar girl. That sentence broke something in me. I held her tighter than I should have. I didn't realize I was already falling. Didn't realize I needed her to need me just as much as I needed to be needed. Tony's words came back to me that night. But I shoved them aside. She wasn't like the others. She didn't ask for money, she didn't ask for anything really. She just wanted me around. That had to count for something, and even if I was wrong, if I was just another soft touch in a foreign city, at least I felt alive again. At least for once someone looked at me like I still mattered. "You like?" Nari asked, spinning in the empty condo like it was a palace. I nodded, watching her bare feet slide across the tile. "It's yours," I said. She gasped, rushed over, and hugged me like I'd given her the world. Maybe I had. The place wasn't much. 1 bedroom, small balcony, kitchenette, but it had air conditioning, a clean view of the sea, and more peace than the bar ever did. "You don't need to go back there," I said, setting the keys on the counter. "I want you to feel safe, comfortable." She stared at me wide-eyed like I'd handed her a life raft. "I stopped today," she whispered. "No more bar, just us now." I smiled. That's what I wanted, us. She moved in the next morning. I brought groceries, helped her unpack, even hung the little Buddha charm she kept in her purse by the door. "Good luck," she said, tapping it twice. She started cooking for me, simple stuff, rice and eggs, some kind of spicy soup that made me sweat. "You eat like Thai now," she teased. We watched terrible soap operas with bad dubbing, and she'd nudge me every time the villain showed up. "He like your ex-wife," she'd say, grinning. I laughed harder than I had in years. Her friends came by sometimes, 2 girls from her old bar who called me Papa and teased her in Thai until she blushed. "They jealous," she told me after they left. "They want man like you." I didn't say anything, just pulled her closer. I didn't want to be anyone else's. I just wanted to hold on to what I had. One night, I came by unannounced with takeout, and she wasn't expecting me. The door was unlocked. I heard her voice in the bedroom, soft, fast, speaking Thai. I stood in the hallway, takeout bags in hand. Then silence. A second later, she walked out, phone behind her back. "Honey," she said, startled. "You not?" "Tell me you come." I held up the food. "Surprise." She smiled, too wide. "I cook already, but we eat both, okay?" I nodded, but something tugged at me. "Who are you talking to?" I asked. She blinked. "Just my brother. He asked for money again. I say no." I let it go. I didn't want to push, didn't want to ruin the moment, but something shifted in me. Just a flicker of doubt. I pushed it down. A week later, she asked me not to go back to Tony's poker night. "Why you need other people?" she said, crawling into my lap. "I'm here. I make you happy, no?" I hesitated. "I've been going for months. It's just cards and beer." She frowned. "They don't like me. They say bad things. You trust me, or you trust them?" I kissed her forehead. "Of course I trust you." But I didn't go that week, or the one after. Tony texted, said he missed my stupid jokes. I didn't answer. I didn't know how to explain that I was already somewhere else, somewhere softer, quieter, where things made sense again. Or so I thought. She started asking more questions. "Why that woman message you?" she'd ask, pointing to a Facebook comment from my cousin. "You still talk to your ex-wife?" I reassured her every time. "There's no one else," I said. "I'm all in with you." And I meant it, even when it felt like the walls were getting smaller, even when her smile felt a little more like a mask. One night, we lay in bed, her head on my chest. "You ever leave me?" she whispered. "No," I said, "never." She kissed my hand. "Then I never leave you." I wanted to believe it. I needed to, because by then, I'd already started picturing us long-term. Marriage, maybe a small business for her, a simpler life. I'd even looked into extending my visa. Tony called the next day. I almost let it go to voicemail, but I picked up. "You all right, mate?" he asked. "Haven't seen you in weeks." I told him I'd been busy. "She treating you good?" he asked. I hesitated. "Yeah, it's serious now." He sighed. "Just keep your eyes open, all right? I've seen it before." I got defensive. "She's different." "They all are," he said. I hung up before he could say more. That night I sat beside Nari on the couch. She leaned into me, humming some Thai song under her breath. I watched her, the way her eyelids fluttered when she was relaxed, the way she looped her pinky through, mine like a promise. And I told myself not to think, not to dig, just to feel. Because for the first time in years, I had someone waiting for me, cooking for me, holding my hand during thunderstorms. That had to mean something, even if part of me already knew, somewhere quiet and deep, that I was falling too fast, too blind, and maybe exactly how she needed me to. "You really think I could go?" she asked, eyes wide like a kid in a candy shop. We were eating noodles under a green umbrella while sweat ran down my back. "To America?" I smiled. "Why not? You've talked about it since our first week together." She giggled, twirling noodles around her fork. "I want to see snow, eat Big Burger, hug Mickey Mouse at Disneyland." I laughed. "That's the dream." She nodded, then reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "But I only want to go with you. Not alone. Never alone." Later that night, I opened my laptop and started searching. Tourist visa, too risky. Spouse visa, complicated but doable. I stared at the checklist, birth certificates, affidavits, medical exams. "Do you want to marry me?" I asked, half joking. She looked up from the bed, serious. "If I marry anyone, it's you. You take care of me. You love me real, not like customer." My heart thudded in my chest. "We'd have to do it here," I said, "and there's a lot of paperwork." She leaned in, her face inches from mine. "You help me, I be your wife forever. Not pretend, real." The next morning I called a visa consultant Tony had mentioned. "Once," he answered with a gravelly voice. "You sure about this?" he asked after I explained. "It's a long road, mate." I told him I was sure. I told myself the same thing. We set up a meeting. Nari wore a white blouse and sat quietly, while the consultant laid it out. $3,200 for full service, medical checks, document translations, embassy appointments. "Not cheap," he said. Nari grabbed my hand. "I help pay later," she whispered. I shook my head. "I've got it." I wired the first payment that night. I told myself it wasn't about money, it was about building something, about giving her the life she deserved, about finally not being alone. "Can I stop working now?" she asked the next day, arms wrapped around my neck. "I want to focus on us, on my English, on making home for you." I nodded. "Of course." "You don't need to work another night." She cried, real tears, or they looked real. "No man ever say that to me," she said. I believed her. I wanted to believe everything. From that week on, she was mine all day. She cleaned the condo, cooked spicy shrimp dishes, even tried to fold my clothes the way I liked back home. She walked me to the cafe every morning, kissed me at the door. "Don't look at other girl," she teased. "You have wife now." I laughed. "Not yet." She grinned. "Soon." I started talking about our future like it was written in ink. "We'll fly into LA, drive the coast. You'll love San Diego. Maybe we open a food truck, Thai food, but American-sized portions." Her eyes sparkled. "I make pad see you be cashier." I laughed, picturing us behind a small window handing bowls to college kids. "We'd be a hit," I said. "People love couples who love each other." The money started flowing faster than I expected. Visa fees, dress shopping. Her mother needed a new fridge. Her brother's school fee was due. "I pay later," she kept saying. "I just want to make my family proud. Same like you want make your daughter proud, yes?" That hit me. Harder than I thought it would. "Yeah," I said quietly. "Yeah, that's exactly it." One night I caught her watching YouTube videos of American weddings. "You planning something I don't know about?" I asked. She grinned, then pointed to a dress. "You like this?" "Not big, not too white, just small nice." I smiled. "It's perfect." And it was, because she made it perfect. Because with her beside me, the world finally felt like it was mine to shape again. Tony saw me a few days later. "You're glowing," he said, raising an eyebrow. "Let me guess, she quit the bar?" I nodded. "And you're doing the visa?" I nodded again. "Jesus, mate, you move fast." I shrugged. "When you know, you know." He looked at me for a long second. "Just be careful. Some dreams cost more than you expect." I didn't answer. I didn't want anything to dull the high I was riding. Back at the condo, Nari was cooking stir-fried pork. "Smell like America yet?" she joked. I wrapped my arms around her from behind. "Smells like home." She looked over her shoulder and kissed me. We happy now, yes? I kissed her back. Happier than I've ever been. And I meant it. I meant it with every dollar I sent, every form I signed, every time I watched her fold my shirts with tiny hands and quiet humming. She was my future now, my restart, my reason, even when I felt the weight pulling harder, even when the balance kept shrinking, even when I saw the way she looked away when I mentioned the visa interview. I didn't ask. I didn't want to ruin the dream. Because for the first time, in years, it felt like I wasn't just fixing a broken life. I was building something real, something worth holding on to, and I was all in. I woke up to silence. No pan clatter, no humming from the balcony, no soft footsteps padding across the tiles. The condo felt hollow. I called out, "Nari?" Nothing. Her phone was gone from the charger. Her toothbrush, her little gold Buddha necklace, gone. I checked the drawers. Clothes missing. Only the empty scent of jasmine left in the sheets. I called her phone straight to voicemail. I called again and again. I waited an hour, then walked the block. Maybe she just ran errands. Maybe she forgot her charger. But by sundown, the silence hadn't changed. I texted her. "You okay?" Nothing. Next morning, still nothing. On the third day, I went back to the bar, not to accuse, just to look. It felt like stepping into a nightmare I thought I'd already escaped. The bartender gave me a half smile. "She not here, long time now." I asked if she'd seen her. "No, maybe go home, she not tell me." I sat on the curb across from the condo that night, phone in hand, staring at the message that never got delivered. "I'm worried, please talk to me." I sent it anyway, just in case. I didn't eat for 2 days. I called Tony. "She gone," I said. "I don't know what happened." He didn't say I told you so. He just sighed. "Do you want me to come by?" I told him no, I couldn't face anyone yet. I was still convincing myself there had to be a good reason. A family emergency, a visa delay, anything but what it felt like. On the 5th day, I saw her. It was around 7:30, the street glowing gold from shop signs. I was heading to the market, hoping movement would quiet my head. Then I froze. She was walking out of a 7-Eleven laughing. Her hand was in someone else's. A boy. Couldn't have been older than 25. Tall, tattoos on his neck, sneakers, cleaner than his shirt. She looked up mid-laugh and saw me. For a second, everything stopped. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. Her smile dropped. Then she looked away, turned, pulled the boy's hand, walked off like I was invisible. Didn't move. Couldn't. My knees locked and the air felt thick. I stood there for minutes, maybe more, until an old woman brushing the sidewalk asked if I was okay. I told her I was lost. I wasn't lying. Back in the condo, I sat in the dark. I stared, had her folded towel on the bathroom rail, one sandal under the bed, a sticky note on the fridge that read, "Buy egg." It felt like a stranger's handwriting. I called her again, voicemail. I texted one last time. "Saw you tonight, I need to know why." The next day I went to see Lek, one of her old bar friends. I hadn't talked to her since the apartment celebration. She was smoking outside the bar, one foot on the rail. "You here for Nari?" she asked. I nodded. "She gone." Just like that. She exhaled, looked past me. "She has someone else." Maybe always did. My throat closed. "Since when?" She shrugged. "She's not bad person. She just live fast. Like money, like feeling loved. You gave her dream, but dream move fast too." I wanted to scream. Instead I whispered, "She said she loved me." Lek flicked her ash. Maybe she did. In the way she can. I walked home slower than I ever had. Every step felt heavier. I replayed every moment. Every time I bought groceries. Every visa form. Every time she said forever. Had it all been scripted? Was I just the latest stop on her way to someone younger, flashier, newer? I couldn't make sense of it. I kept thinking maybe she'd come back, maybe she'd explain. But deep down I knew I'd already seen the truth in her eyes, that flash of guilt or maybe just inconvenience before she turned away. I sat on the bed we shared and stared at the photo she took of us on the beach. still stuck to the fridge with a cat magnet. I remembered how she kissed my cheek after taking it. "You my American dream," she'd said. I believed it then. I would have believed anything. And now, all I had left was silence. The kind that doesn't comfort, only echoes. The kind that makes you wonder if any of it was ever real, or if I was just a ghost in a story someone else had already finished telling. I couldn't eat. I'd make coffee, then forget about it. Let the rice cooker hum, then pull the plug before it finished. The silence in the condo was too loud, like her absence was echoing off every wall. I sat on the floor most days, back against the fridge, staring at nothing. 40,000, I said out loud one morning, just to hear something human. I logged into my bank app again, hoping the numbers would change. They didn't. $40,000 gone in 5 months. Rent, clothes, her family, visa consultants, gifts, dinners, groceries. All of it layered in some fantasy I paid to believe in. I stopped opening curtains. I couldn't face the sunlight. Every time it came through the window, it felt like a spotlight, like someone watching me unravel. Tony showed up without calling. Knocked twice, then let himself in. "Jesus, it's like a cave in here," he muttered, flipping on the light. "You been eating?" I shrugged. "You look like you lost weight." "Maybe that's the one good thing," I said. He sat beside me, bottle of water in hand. "You're not the first, you know." I didn't answer. "We've all been there," he said, softer this time. "The story's never the same, but the ending usually is." I looked at him. "Why didn't I see it?" "Because you didn't want to," he said. "Because when someone finally looks at you like you matter, you grab on." I closed my eyes. She said I made her feel safe. "You probably did, just not in the way you thought." He stayed an hour, didn't push, just sat, talked about anything but her. When he left, he said, "You'll come back from this, might not feel like it now, but you will." I didn't believe him, but I nodded anyway. That night I found a notebook tucked in the bottom drawer. I flipped through the empty pages, then picked up a pen. I wrote one sentence. "She called me honey before I told her my name." Then another. "She asked me not to see my friends." The pen didn't stop. I kept writing, every red flag, every excuse I made. Every moment I felt something crack and chose not to look. Day after day I filled those pages. Not for revenge, not for clarity, just to keep my mind from spinning. The more I wrote, the more I saw it. The script, the soft lies. The way she'd flinch when I mentioned America. The way she always changed the subject when I asked about her past. The way she'd stare at her phone after midnight, smiling when she thought I was asleep. "I thought I was helping," I wrote. I thought I was different. I kept seeing her with that boy, her hand in his. Her face turned away from mine like I'd never existed. I wondered if she laughed at me after, if she deleted our pictures without thinking, or maybe she kept one. Maybe she even missed something. But I didn't write that part down. That was just my pain lying to me. I stopped going to the cafe. I ignored the landlord's texts. I didn't have the heart to explain. I just needed the world to stop for a while. At night, I played old voicemails. "Honey, you sleep already? I miss your hand." That one broke me. I listened to it 3 times, then deleted it. I needed to let it rot in silence, not keep bleeding into my ears. I wrote again. I needed her more than she needed me. That was the whole problem. I stared at that line for an hour. That was the truth I didn't want to say out loud. I hadn't been building a new life. I'd been trying to patch up the one I'd lost. The shame hit harder than the heartbreak. The knowing, the stupid pride. The way I'd bragged to Tony, told him she was different. The way I shut out anyone who questioned her. "You lied to yourself," I wrote, "and paid her to help you do it." That sentence stayed with me all night. I whispered it like a prayer, like if I said it enough, I'd be free. I didn't cry, not really. Just felt this heavy ache sit in my ribs like something rotten I couldn't cut out. When the pen finally stopped, I looked down at the pages. Black, ink curling like a trail of someone else's life, but it was mine, all of it. Every line, every mistake, every blind, broken step. 3 weeks passed before I heard from her. Just a message, no greeting. "Can we meet?" I stared at it for a long time. I should have deleted it, blocked her. But I didn't. I just typed back, "Where?" We met at the same cafe, where we used to laugh over mango smoothies. She wore the same soft pink shirt from our first date, her hair curled the way I liked. I sat down across from her, arms crossed, breath held. She didn't look sorry, she looked rested. "You look tired," she said. I said nothing. She stirred her drink, eyes low. "He gone. That boy. He used me. I stupid." I blinked at her. "Really?" she nodded. "He lie. Take money. I feel broken." I stared at her hands, perfectly manicured. "That's funny," I said. "I feel the same way." She tilted her head. "You angry?" I leaned forward. "I watched you walk. Away with him like I never existed." She paused, then said, "I make mistake. I confuse, but you always kind to me, you real." I swallowed the lump in my throat. "So why now?" She looked up. "I need help. Only small. Just rent. 1 month. Then I find new job. I not ask again." I laughed. Just once. Quiet. Bitter. "You're good," I said. "You really know how to sound broken." She frowned. "I mean it." I looked at her. Really looked. The tilt of her chin, the practiced pout, the perfectly timed tears that never fell. "You're not here for me," I said. "You're here because the other option dried up." She reached across the table. "I still care." I pulled back. "No, you don't. You care about what I can fix, what I can pay." She blinked, lips trembling like an actress who'd rehearsed too long. "Please," she whispered. "Just one time." I reached into my pocket, pulled out a single bill, placed it on the table. "That's all I've got left for you." She stared at it, then at me. "Why you say like this? You think I use you?" I didn't flinch. "I know you did." She stood up. "Okay, you hate me now." I stood too. "No, I just see you now." She looked away. "Goodbye then." I nodded. "Yeah, goodbye." She leaned in suddenly, hugged me tight. I didn't move. Her hair smelled the same. Her hands gripped me like before, but my arms stayed down. When she pulled back, she smiled just a little. "Take care, honey." Then she walked away without looking back. I stood there for a long time, the chair still warm from where she sat. I waited for the hurt, but it didn't come, just a hollow space where belief used to be. And I knew I'd never see her again. And I didn't want to. Not anymore. I walked down Soi Buakhao with no real destination. The streets looked the same. But something in me had shifted. I passed the same noodle cart where we used to laugh over late dinners, the same corner where she once pulled me close and said, "You make me feel like real girl." Now I just nodded at the vendors, eyes empty. I watched a young couple hold hands outside the mall. He bent to tie her shoe. She kissed his forehead. I didn't feel envy, just a quiet ache, like watching someone live out a memory I wasn't sure ever really belonged to me. I sat on the beach that night, same spot where we kissed under that first moon. Same breeze, same sound of waves. She'd taken off her shoes then, walked barefoot in the sand, leaned into me, and whispered that she'd never felt safe with anyone until me. I thought about how much I wanted that to be true. I pulled out the notebook again, the one I started after she left. I flipped past pages filled with pain, denial, anger. I turned to a fresh one. I wrote, "She didn't break me. She just showed me where I was already cracked." I stared at it for a long time. I kept writing. I came here looking for peace, but what I really wanted was proof that I still mattered. I thought if someone needed me, I'd stop feeling like a ghost. I set the pen down, closed the book, and let the air move around me. A street dog lay in the sand a few feet away, snoring lightly. A boy flew a plastic kite in the dark. Life kept going. Nobody paused for me. Nobody needed to. I stood up, brushed off the sand, and walked toward the lights. I passed a bar, her old one. Music thumped low. I glanced inside. New girls. New. Farangs. One of them laughed, kissed a man's cheek. I wondered if he'd fall too, or maybe he already had. I didn't feel anger, just a strange kind of grief. Not for what happened, but for who I'd been. A man desperate to believe that love could fix him. Tony called me later that week. "You all right now?" he asked. "I'm breathing," I said. "That's a start," he said. "Come by. There's beer in the fridge and no one pretending." "To love you," I laughed once. "Might take you up on that." I didn't go right away, but I knew I would, eventually. I stopped checking my phone for her name. I deleted the last photo we took together, her kissing my cheek while I looked, like the happiest man alive. I realized I didn't hate her. I hated how much I'd let go of myself just to feel wanted again. She wasn't my future. She wasn't even really my past. She was a mirror, and what I saw in it was a man who lost his way long before she ever showed up. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need closure. I just needed to remember who I was before I handed my worth over to someone else's smile. The air felt lighter walking home, not fixed, not healed, but lighter. I knew I'd carry this story for the rest of my life, but not as a wound, as a warning, as a whisper, as the last thing I had to lose before I finally started over. I didn't book a flight home. I thought about it more than once, but I knew if I went back I'd just be another old man pacing an empty house, haunted by the echo of something I couldn't name. So I stayed, moved into a studio above a laundry shop run by a woman who never asked questions. The rent was cheap, the bed was hard, but it was mine. I started helping out at a cafe near the walking street, mostly clearing tables, refilling coffee, fixing the ancient fan when it whined too loud. The owner, Jack, paid me just enough for rice, rent, and the occasional cold beer. I liked it. Better than I thought I would. Mornings were quiet. I'd wipe the counter and watch the parade of men come through, fresh off planes, shiny watches, 2 new sandals, talking about how different it felt here. How free. I saw it in their eyes. That same look I wore when I first met her. Open, hopeful, blind. One afternoon, a guy sat at the bar scrolling through photos of a girl on his phone. "Met her last night," he said. "She's incredible." Said I'm not like other guys. I just nodded past him his drink. He leaned in. "You ever fall for one of them?" I sipped my coffee, let the silence hang. "Once," I said. That was all. He didn't ask more. He went back to his phone, smiling like a teenager. I watched him and thought, he won't listen. Not yet, they never do. Tony still stopped by. Sometimes we'd sit by the canal and drink beer that tasted like rust. We didn't talk much anymore. Didn't need to. He'd light a cigarette, offer me one, and I'd shake my head. He'd take a drag and say, "You all right now?" And I'd say, "I'm getting there." And that was enough. We both knew there were things you never really get over, just things you learn to live beside. I started walking more, just to breathe, down side streets, past food stalls, past balconies strung with drying laundry, and kids yelling in Thai. Nobody knew me here. Nobody cared who I was or what I'd lost. I liked that. Some days I'd sit on a bench near the market and write in my notebook. Not about her, at least not directly. Just pieces. A smile I misread. A lie I paid for. A moment I should have walked away. The pages weren't angry anymore. They were quiet, reflective. I didn't write to remember. I wrote to release. I passed her once, weeks after the cafe. She didn't see me. She was on the back of someone's bike, arms around his waist, laughing like she'd never hurt anyone. I didn't stop, didn't look long. I just kept walking, and for the first time I didn't feel a pull, just a faint echo of something I'd already let go. That was the moment I knew I'd changed. Not healed, not whole, just no longer breaking. One night, Tony handed me a beer and said, "If you could go back, would you do it different?" I thought about it. "I wouldn't try to fix myself through someone else," I said. He nodded. "Tough lesson." I smiled. But I learned it. We sat in silence, the night buzzing with mopeds and distant karaoke. "She's still in your head?" he asked. "No," I said. She's just a story now. And she was. Not a wound, not a fantasy, just a chapter, a long one, a costly one, but one I didn't need to keep rereading. The hurt had settled into something softer, something that didn't bite when I looked back. I saw her face sometimes in dreams, but it didn't haunt me. It was just a face. I'd stopped asking why, stopped needing closure. The truth was simple. I wanted love. She wanted something else. That was it. I kept working, kept writing, kept waking up to roosters and falling asleep to dogs barking in the alley. The rhythm of it was enough, the quiet, the smallness. I didn't chase big things anymore, didn't need to prove I still had time. I had moments now. That was enough. Sometimes the tourists would ask, "How long you been here?" And I'd say, "Long enough." They'd smile, try to pull stories out of me. I'd offer small truths. Came here for peace. Stayed for the simplicity. Found myself in the middle of losing everything. They didn't know what to make of it. They weren't ready to understand, not yet. I still get messages from my daughter, short ones. "You okay?" "Still in Thailand?" I reply when I can. "I'm okay. Still here." We don't talk about the past, not much. That bridge might be burned, or maybe it's just waiting. Either way, I've stopped chasing. Get it? I've made peace with the gaps in my story, with the things I lost, with the version of me that needed to be loved so badly. He ignored every sign on the road to heartbreak. I walk the same streets now, with different eyes. Not looking for anything. Not hoping, just noticing. The way light hits the pavement after rain. The way a local shopkeeper waves when I pass. The way strangers laugh at the same old jokes. This place doesn't belong to me, but I've learned to belong to it quietly without taking, without asking for more than what it offers. Just presence, just space, just breath. They say time heals. I don't know if that's true, but time gives you distance. Time lets you step back far enough to see what you were too close to name. And from here, looking back, I see it all clearly, not with anger, not with pain, just truth. And in that truth, I found something I hadn't felt in a long time. Myself.